Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for another beauty related video. Today, I'm welcoming you to the start of Operation Chopping Block. I have 12 palettes here that are on the chopping block to be used or I lose them. So these are palettes that for one reason or another, I really did not use much, if at all, in at least the last year. Some of them are unopened, some of them are a little newer, and that could be why, but the majority of them are not unopened and are ones that I used to use, and I just didn't really reach for them this last year. So we're going to play a chopping block. Now this type of video has been around for a while, and I don't really know who started it or where it's gone in the long list of how long it's been running, okay? So I'm going to play it my style. And for me, I have 12 palettes, and every other month I will come on here and pick 2 of the palettes to focus on. And I'm going to, in those 2 months, use those 2 palettes as much as I can, see how much I naturally reach for them, see how, if they are within eyesight, within natural makeup area, if I use them and how much I use them. And if I, in those 2 months, don't reach for them at all, then they are automatically gone. Automatically leaving my collection. Not sticking around till the end of this project at all. But if I reach for them at least somewhat, and I like the quality, and I like the looks I am making with them, and I have a little bit of an urge to keep them, then I will keep them until the very end of the year, where we will find out if I'm going to keep them any further, and that will be based on how much after that 2 months of focus I continue to reach for them. Because if after those 2 months they go back into my normal collection and I don't reach for them again for however long it is until the end of this project, then that means that I really don't need them. And so they will also be decluttered. So for today's video, I'm going to show you each of the palettes, talk to you a little bit about them, let you know where I am with them right now, and then we'll pick the first 2 palettes that will be focus palettes. Okay, the first 2 I have here are 2 palettes full of shades that I just don't know if I want to keep or not, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to use them or not. So these are not what were originally in here. Some of them are, but some of them are not. So I have in my Beyond Words eyeshadow shades and highlighter shades from a couple different spots. And I have some greens, some pinks, some coppers. Some of them have barely been used and some have been used an okay amount. The highlighters have been used. Even though this isn't the original setup and what was originally all in here, some of these are. And with face products mixed with eyeshadows, I don't reach for things like that. So I went through and decluttered a bunch of palettes in a couple videos back. I'll have that linked at the end here for you. And I said I was going to get rid of a whole bunch of my Ofra Cosmetics shades, and I did. And these are the ones that I'm just unsure if I want to part with. So that's why, even though these aren't true Ofra Cosmetic palettes because they're mixed up and everything, I will be going through these as if they are and kind of parting with them that way if that's what ends up happening. So this palette, which is my version of Beyond Words, has green and pink and coppers, and then 2 highlighters and this blushy color. Then with the same kind of setup, this one was the Caribbean Glitz, which I did really enjoy the eyeshadow shades in here, but these are just some of the shades from this palette and some shades from other palettes that I'm unsure if I should be keeping or not. We have some purples, we have some blues, and then we have more neutral leaning colors. And then this one has blushes and bronzers. Again, when it's mixed face products and eyeshadows, I don't use it, but that's the only way I'm gonna be storing these. So that's how I'm gonna judge it. Okay, I have 4 of the Mega palettes from ColourPop. And if you've been around here, you know that I used to say that I wanted to collect and own all the Mega palettes. And then the ones that they were coming out just weren't calling my name anymore. And the quality, while still staying at their quality, I have kind of moved on from their quality a bit, so I've kind of stopped reaching for these. So that's why 4 of these are in here. So the first one we're gonna look at is actually Stone Cold Thoughts. This one I wanted for the longest time. Since launch until I bought it, which I think I bought it, I wanna say 2023, like Christmas 2023 maybe? Or maybe it was 2022, I don't know. I want it. It was a very long time that I was eyeing ogling this. And guys, I am sad to say that I haven't even used it once. It still has the covering on it. I don't even think I did any swatches on this. And originally I was like, okay, maybe that's a sign I should just part with it. But here's the thing. I'm not ready to. I'm not emotionally ready for that without even trying it. Because there are shades in here, like the gray, that I need to try out. And I already own this, and this is already sitting on my shelves for a long enough time to where I would only give it to a friend. I wouldn't like try to sell it or anything. And so I'm going to bring this in, I'm going to give it a try. And if I don't like it, I have plenty of friends who would not mind a very gently used palette of this color story. So this one is very, very much grays, light browns, just shades I just don't really have in my collection, and that's partly why I kept it for this. My assumption is I'm going to like the shimmers, and I'm going to like a couple of the shades in here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep it. So we'll just wait and see on that. The next one is Getting Fresh. And this one, I thought I was going to use a lot more than I have, but I have used it. This one is kind of springy, but also neutral leaning. So we've got some greens in there, and we've got some pinks in there, and then we've got some like peachy colors, and then we've got some browns and some like taupey colors in here. Now this one, I feel like I don't reach for this enough because it doesn't have enough greens for me. And every time I've opened this and I'm looking for greens, I end up having to go to other palettes because there's just not the greens I need in here. Like, I love the greens that are in here. They are beautiful. But there is not a single matte green in this palette at all. And I think that they could have done away with a couple of those browns and replaced them with some greens, and that would have been an even better springy palette and an even better well-rounded palette. Versus now, I always bring this in with something else if I'm doing greens, and I don't naturally lean towards pinks, so I don't really gravitate towards it for that. I do like the orangey colors, but these particular shades I haven't really gravitated towards. So I'm gonna be interested to see how often I actually pull this in. My assumption is that this one will stick around just because it has a few shades in here that I really do enjoy. Next we have Smokin' Hot. And this one, last year, I used 2 whole times. Yep, in February and in April. That's it. Beautiful looking palette. And when you open it up, you've got a lot of those like burnt orange and browns and a decent amount of shimmers. But this palette again is missing something to it. I really like this orangey shimmer right here, and I think I wish that there was a corresponding matte with it, because I think that would have been a good combo to bring in with the browns. I feel like they overdo the browns and the taupe colors in their palettes, especially these mega palettes, where you can make so many different colors, and I know they probably do it so that it can be used by a lot bigger population for skin tone colors, because every color does work differently on everybody. But I also feel like some of them are so close to each other. I feel like they're missing something in these palettes. They're taking these beautifully sized palettes and they're just slightly missing the mark with the color stories. And I think that is just becoming enough for me to not be reaching for them. This one, I have a few shades in here that I really like. They're all shimmers. I don't have a matte in here that I love. So I actually think this one will probably end up being a declutter. The last makeup palette I have is Play It Jewel, which absolutely love this packaging. This one last year was used a few more times. This one in March was used 3 times, and then in April twice, May and June 1 each, but it hasn't been picked up since then. And the only reason why it was used that was because it was brought into a project to use a very specific shade. So it wasn't like the whole palette was being used. It was just very specific shades. Beautiful packaging. It's actually one of my favorite packagings from them for their makeup palettes. They just did this one really well. The color story, I love. I actually really love this. The shimmers are beautiful. The mattes are okay. They're nothing special. And again, there's a lot of browns, but I like how they did this one. So this one, they have a lot of different shades here that are all going to be in that more brown and taupe family. But then the rest of it, they actually have some other mattes that are other colors that can go along with so many different shimmers. So I really feel like this one, they did probably the best out of for the makeup palettes, at least of the ones I'm showing you here. But for some reason, I still don't reach for this. And I don't know why, because every time I do use this, I do enjoy it. And I have no problem coming up with color stories. I think it's because the mattes, even though I love that the matte colors that are in here, I don't love working with the mattes that much. I love the shimmers though. I absolutely do. And there's a couple mattes in here that I haven't played around with yet. So maybe if I force myself to use those, maybe that will change my mind on this palette. I do think this is one that's going to stick around, but I think the reason that it'll stick around is because of the shimmers. Okay guys, I have one more palette from ColourPop that is in this, and this is the Flutterby palette. This one, isn't that packaging so pretty? So if you aren't aware, I have another channel, and that channel was actually my very first channel. I started with a whole bunch of different stuff that I'm no longer doing on that channel, and that channel is still there. I occasionally post about like book stuff, but it's not like super active. But this has butterflies on it, and the name of that channel is Of Sparrows and Butterflies, and that is something that has a lot of meaning to me. And when I saw this packaging, I loved it. Even though it doesn't have a sparrow on it, it has the beautiful butterflies. It's just such a beautiful palette. That's why I got this. And I got this pretty close to launch. And guys, I haven't used it. I've swatched it. I may have used one shade once, but everything else looks like a swatch. Yeah, but it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful, but I just don't reach for these types of colors. I really hope you're seeing that, because what I'm seeing in the reflection is like, it looks brown, but it's not. There's like, they all have a purpley lean to them, but they're all like purples with like more brown leaning, more taupe leaning, more gray leaning. This one was really well done if you like purples. I don't use purples. I used to use purples long time ago, but I just don't reach for purples that much, especially not more muted purples. So I can't keep storing things that I'm not going to use. So even though I love the packaging, and I bought this packaging because it was something that was like symbolic for me and emotional for me and all of that, I can't keep it around just for that, because eventually this is going to go bad anyway, and I'm gonna have to get rid of it anyway. So that's why I'm bringing this in. If I don't use this, this will go away immediately, because I've been needing to do something about this for such a long time. If I do get used in this though, and I keep reaching for this, there's no way this will go anywhere. So we'll just have to see what happens. Okay, next I have an old palette that I've had in my collection for a very long time, and you guys have probably seen this so many times, not only my channel, but everywhere else. It is still sold everywhere. Like, I still see it in my stores, and it is a good palette. But this last year, outside of projects, I didn't use it at all. So this is the e.l.f. 18 Hit Wonders palette. And this, I think, was one of their first, if not their first, colorful large palette. And they did a really good job with it. The quality, I would say, is definitely starting to go down. And some of the shades, like the yellow and the orange, aren't nearly as vibrant as other things on the market right now. So for drugstore quality and for drugstore prices, this was great. But as it's getting older, I am definitely noticing a difference. And that's why I brought it in, because I noticed it last year. And because of that, I really didn't use it. And yet I wasn't really ready to emotionally part with it for some reason. The shimmers on here are really fun, but you do have to play with them. If you want them to look super shimmery, you do definitely have to use some tricks with them. Again, I do think that that's coming with the age of the product. So I think the main reason why I brought this one in was so that I would use it a little bit more and see if I think it's too old or not. And my assumption is this one's gonna leave the collection, because even though I do love this as a affordable, colorful option, I think that there are better quality things out there now, and I think that even the drugstore brands are getting more vibrant. Next I have from Beauty Creations, the very first palette from them I've ever tried. This is the Corpse Bride Why So Blue Multi-Use Palette. This one came out in October. I was lucky enough to find it at my TJ Maxx, and so I picked it up. And I have to say, first off, the packaging, absolutely stunning. The color story, phenomenal. The fact that it has a mirror, it's great. It's really good. And then for the price, beautiful. Take a closer look at that color story, guys. It's really pretty. I used this in a video and I made a look and I loved the look, but I told you some things that I didn't like about it. I didn't like the way that the mattes all felt like the 90s kids makeup, and then how this blue that I used just would not stay on my eye. It kept dripping. I kept having to fix it. Like, it was like, it's not super wet, but it moves constantly. So I loved the look I made, but I told you guys those things, and I told you because of that, I probably was going to be decluttering it, even though I loved the look of it, the palette look, everything here. And I also loved the highlighters here. Well, that video on here on this channel, as well as on TikTok, because I did a couple shorts over there, got some comments about how this was their favorite formula and they couldn't understand how I didn't like it. And I needed to just keep playing with it because this formula was amazing and way above anything the drugstore prices have to offer. So that's why I decided to keep it, so that I could play with it a couple more times, because I only used it like 2 times. No, I think it was 3 times. I used it once with just my normal eyeshadow primer. I used it again with a sticky primer, a glitter glue, and then I used it once without any of those things, and that blue just would not stay on at all. So my thoughts are, I don't think this is going to make the chopping block. I don't think this is going to survive, and it's going to make me sad because I really was excited for this and I really had high hopes, but I just don't think I personally like this formula, but I'm going to give it another go. So that's why it is in the chopping block. Okay guys, we are down to 3 palettes, and these last 3 palettes are ones that have never been used. The first one is another palette I wanted so bad. And when I finally got my hands on it, I was so excited because I thought I lost my chance at it. So this is a Christmas palette. This is I Heart Revolution, and they did an Elf inspired palette, Elf the movie, which is my favorite Christmas movie. This packaging is absolutely adorable, okay? The packaging on the inside is also adorable. Let's take a look at it. See, just matching the box, which I love, super cute, and I feel like it fits well with the theme of the movie. Now, opening it up, this color palette does not scream Christmas, but I still wanted it because I do think it fits perfectly with the movie. And because of that, I didn't think that I would struggle to use it. But there's just so many colors here, and it's just kind of all over the place, and the pans are so small, which is a big pet peeve of mine. And I think all of that combined, and the fact that there's really nothing in here that is at all a traditional Christmas palette, and yet I see Christmas and instantly think Christmas, I think that's why I just have not reached for it. I do think it is a very well done palette as far as sticking to the theme of the movie. But like, I feel like it needed to have just a couple things to make it a little bit more Christmassy in order for me to reach for this around that time of year. So I don't do that, clearly. I've never used it. So I'm going to hopefully bring this in kind of soon so that I can use it in springtime, because this feels like a very springy palette for me. And I don't see myself parting with this, because I'm going to force myself to use it because I love it so much, even though I've never used it. But if I don't use it, I will have to part with it. But I don't think I'm going to allow myself to do that. I don't think I'm going to allow myself to be getting to the point where it has to be decluttered. I just don't. I hope I'm right, because I don't want to say goodbye to this one. Next is a palette that it hasn't really been in my collection for a very long time, but I was only at 11 palettes and I needed to bring in one more because I needed that even number. And this one, I really liked the thought of it when I bought it. But since buying it, I haven't even used it. I haven't taken it out of the package except to show it to you guys. And I never think about it. So yeah, so this is from Profusion. This whole set was on sale for like $2 and something cents. This is the Beam It Up kit, which, because of the price and because of the funny reference that I kind of liked, is why I bought it. But this came with a neon liner as well as a 6-shade palette. So the palette shape is awkward. That's another reason why I'm not sure if I'm gonna reach for this. I like it. I think it's really cute. But I don't know how to properly store this where I'm going to actually reach for this. So I haven't even taken the plastic off. It's still taped on there. It looks like really pretty colors, and if they actually are that vibrant, then there's no way I'll get rid of this. But if they aren't that vibrant, there's no way I would keep this. Because just looking at this, I don't think there's many color stories I can come up with. Like, I feel like this would be like a good companion palette maybe. I don't know why I bought this. It was $2 and something cents. That's probably why. Probably because I needed like $2 and something cents to get to free shipping or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot. I want to see if these are super vibrant. If they are, awesome. If they aren't, this won't make the cut. The last palette I have to show you guys. Okay. This is from Glamlight, and this is another one that I wanted so badly and it kept selling out, and I just thought my chance to have it was gone. Okay, it is the Hershey's Cookies and Cream 12 color palette. It is still in its freaking packaging. They have brought it back several times since then, so I need to get over this. I'll never have it again because it doesn't matter, because Glamlight will bring things that sell back. But I haven't opened this, and the reason why is because I wanted to come up with some type of really fun, cool idea of like a video for opening it. I even went and bought a chocolate bar to match, but I haven't done that yet. And I probably won't, but I might, so I'm not gonna open it right now. I will put on the screen a picture of this color story. It is one that I really liked the color story, and that's why I wanted this palette. Well, I liked the color story, plus it was just such a cute idea. Okay, so there's what that looks like. If this doesn't get opened, there's no way I'm keeping it. If this further doesn't get used, there is no way I will keep it. I know, well, I think I know that as soon as I open this and use it, because I know Glamlight's quality, I'm fully expecting to love this palette and make it one that I reach for often. I just need to get over the fact that I haven't opened it yet. So I need to give myself some type of deadline, which is what this chopping block is. If this is not opened and used, it's going bye-bye. I really need to eat this chocolate bar soon. It doesn't expire till October. I can keep it until October, right? No. Okay guys, those are the 12 palettes that I'm bringing in to this project. Now I'm gonna pick the first 2 that I'm going to focus on, and we'll see where we go from there. I think I'm going to challenge myself. I think the first palette I'm going to bring in is the e.l.f. palette, because I did say I wanted to use it in springtime. So this is actually the perfect time of year for this color story. So I'm gonna bring this one in. So one that I've never used, which I think will be kind of fun, playing with something I've never used. And then the second thing, I'm just gonna do it, guys. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to bring in the Hershey's Glamlight Cookies and Cream, that name was all wrong, sorry, palette. And for both of these, since neither of these have ever been used, if by the next update they are still not used, they will be immediately decluttered from my collection. If they are used, then it'll depend on how I liked them. But if they do not get used in the next 2 months, they will be gone. What do you think? Do you think I'm gonna finally do it? Do you think I'm finally just going to dig into these and use them? Do you think I'm gonna love them? Or do you think they're gonna be decluttered? I hope you like this project and other types of projects where we are using the stuff we already own and really finding out what we enjoy, so that we are only buying stuff that we're going to use. If you enjoy this type of content, if you enjoy project pans, if you enjoy talking about makeup, whether it be stuff you already own or even new products, I hope you will choose to hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up button. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are a rock star, and I appreciate your support so much. I have some videos popping up on the screen. If you want to continue to watch some content from me, I would really appreciate it. But if you can't today, that is fine. I hope to see you in a video very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.